Do you ever feel like there's an invisible neon sign hovering above your head that flashes open for narcissists, manipulators, and emotional vampires? Come and get it? Picture this. You step into a room filled with 100 people. 99 of them are kind, grounded, respectful, and emotionally mature. You don't even glance at them. Instead, you zero in like a heat-seeking missile on the one person who will exhaust you, trample your boundaries, and leave you questioning your sanity 6 months from now. And in that electric moment, you mistake the jolt for chemistry. You call it fate. You text your friends, "I've never felt a connection like this in my life." But what if that spark is a warning light disguised as fireworks? What if that rush isn't love at all? It's your nervous system recognizing familiar danger. Here's the brutal truth. People with high empathy and weak boundaries aren't just unlucky. They're targeted. Not because they're flawed, but because they're valuable. You're broadcasting a signal that healthy people can't see, yet it glows like a beacon to anyone looking for someone to use. Facing this hurts. You've probably spent years asking, why does this always happen to me? You've blamed bad luck, sworn off entire genders, or decided the world is full of monsters. But the one constant in every toxic relationship is you, and that's actually the best news you'll hear today. If the pattern lives inside you, you have the power to dismantle it. Over the next few minutes, we're going to dissect exactly why you keep inviting chaos into your life. We'll expose the hidden savior complex that keeps you hooked on fixing broken people. We'll reveal why your brain confuses anxiety with passion. And most importantly, I'm going to hand you the tools to rebuild your psychological immune system so toxic people stop getting past the gate. This isn't about learning to say no a little louder. This is about rewriting your entire definition of love. By the end, you'll be able to spot a toxic person in the first 5 minutes of meeting them, and you'll finally understand why being too nice has been quietly destroying your peace. Ready to shut the door on toxicity for good? Let's go. First uncomfortable truth. You're not just a magnet, you're an unlocked house in a rough neighborhood. Most people have fences, alarms, locked doors. Those are boundaries. Your door, though, it's wide open not because you're careless, but because you were taught that locking it makes you selfish. You learn that being a good person means being endlessly available. Psychologists call this porous boundaries. You absorb everyone else's emotions as if they're your own. To healthy people, that looks like deep empathy. To narcissists and energy vampires, it looks like an all-you-can-eat buffet with no resistance. Why do you keep the door open? The roots almost always trace back to childhood. If love felt conditional, if you had to be helpful, quiet, or perfect to earn affection, you developed a survival strategy called fawning. It's the fourth trauma response, alongside fight, flight, and freeze. You please the threat to stay safe. You learned that having needs was dangerous, and saying no risked abandonment. So you became a world-class mood reader and people pleaser. That skill kept you safe as a kid. As an adult, it makes you the ideal target for anyone who wants control. But there's a darker layer most people don't want to admit. You're not only attracting toxic people because you're vulnerable, you're subconsciously seeking them out because you're trying to rescue them. This is the savior complex. Think about your last toxic relationship or friendship. Did they open with a heartbreaking story, abusive exes, traumatic childhood, being misunderstood? Did something inside you light up and whisper, I can be the one who finally gets them. I can heal them? That's the trap. The savior complex isn't pure altruism. Deep down, it's about securing attachment. If you can fix them, if you can be their one indispensable person, they'll never leave. You make yourself essential to feel lovable. Healthy relationships aren't renovation projects. Healthy people don't need saving, they need partnership. And that's exactly why stable, consistent people feel boring to you. Let me introduce you to the most addictive manipulation tactic on the planet: intermittent reinforcement. In a healthy relationship, affection and respect are steady, predictable. To a nervous system wired by early unpredictability, predictable feels flat. No drama, no spark. A toxic person is a slot machine. They love bomb you with intense attention, compliments, passion. You hit the jackpot, dopamine floods your brain, you feel euphoric. Then they vanish, turn cold, criticize, or stonewall. Anxiety spikes, cortisol surges. You chase harder to recapture that high. When they finally toss you a crumb of warmth, the relief is so powerful it feels like the deepest love you've ever known. This push-pull cycle creates a chemical addiction stronger than many drugs. It's called a trauma bond. You're not in love with the person, you're hooked on the cycle, chasing fleeting highs to escape the lows. I used to think that if I just loved someone hard enough, they'd change. I wore my endless patience like a badge of honor. I told myself that putting up with disrespect proved how deep my love went. I was dead wrong. What I called love was just a glaring lack of self-respect. I was trying to earn my worth by surviving pain. And here's the hardest truth to swallow. Toxic people aren't wearing masks. They show you exactly who they are in the first few weeks, if you're willing to look. The subtle put-down disguised as a joke. The boundary nudge to test your reaction. The way they trash talk everyone from their past. A person with solid boundaries spots those red flags, nods once, and walks away. Not for me. But you see the same flags waving and think, challenge accepted. You reframe it as potential. You fall in love with who they could become if only they had someone like you to fix them. You're not seeing the person you're dating a fantasy, but freedom is possible. And it doesn't require turning into an ice-cold fortress. You don't have to become guarded or cynical to stay safe. You just need to put a simple lock on your front door. Here's the distinction that changes everything. The difference between being nice and being kind. Being nice is fear in disguise. It's saying yes when you want to say no because you're terrified of rejection. It's giving when you're already empty because you think that's how you stay lovable. Being kind is strength in action. It's generosity from overflow, not obligation. It's helping because you choose to, because the other person has earned your trust and respect, not because you're afraid they'll leave if you don't. The toxic people didn't break into your life. You opened the door wide because being alone in your own house felt scarier than letting chaos in. You feared that a single boundary, "I'm not okay with being spoken to like that," or "I can't fix this for you," would make them bolt. And you know what? You were right. They would bolt. That's the entire point. Boundaries aren't walls to keep everyone out. They're filters that let the right people stay. When you finally start enforcing them, the toxic ones will rage, guilt trip, or vanish. They'll accuse you of being selfish, cold, or not the person I fell in love with. Let them talk. That dramatic exit is just the trash rolling itself to the curb. At first, the silence will feel deafening. You'll meet someone who texts when they say they will, who listens without turning it into a competition, who respects your time and your no. Your nervous system wired for chaos will panic and scream. Where's the intensity? Where's the passion? This feels flat. Don't run. That flatness is peace. That quiet is safety. You've been marinating in cortisol so long you forgot what steady serotonin feels like. You have to retrain your body to accept that real love isn't a heart-pounding roller coaster. It's a calm river that runs deep and steady. Your assignment this week is simple but powerful. Practice the pause. When someone new catches your eye, or when a familiar toxic person demands your energy, don't react instantly. Don't leap in to rescue, soothe, or apologize for boundaries you haven't even set yet. Just pause, breathe, observe. Ask yourself 2 questions. How does this person actually make me feel in my body right now? And am I responding to who they are, or to who I hope they'll become? Stop auditioning for the role of cool girl or understanding guy who can handle anything. Become the person who respects themselves enough to walk away from anyone who disturbs their peace. You are not a halfway house for emotionally stunted adults. You are not an unpaid therapist or emotional dumping ground. You are a whole human being deserving of love that multiplies your energy instead of draining it dry. The second you truly believe that, at a bone-deep level, the signal shifts. The invisible neon sign flickers and dies. The door locks with a satisfying click. And suddenly, in that crowded room of 100 people, you finally notice the 99 who've been waiting to love you without games, without drama, without making you earn every crumb. Setting boundaries is the first victory. Maintaining them when the toxic person tries to suck you back in is the real test. They have a favorite weapon called hoovering, vacuuming you right back into the cycle, and it works on almost everyone who tries to leave. In the next video, I'll break down exactly how hoovering operates and give you the precise 3-word phrase that shuts it down cold. You're going to want this in your arsenal the next time the test arrives. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready. The right people are already on their way. You just have to stop letting the wrong ones block the door.